All right, we are back. I have one point of correction I want to make. Our next run is going to be Sparkster, not by drakodan, but by drakodan. So let's look forward to that. And we will be having an interview with Gusmancini, and Feasel is going to be doing that interview. And Dexter, I believe, is also going to be participating in that. Look forward to that. I'm going to get to a couple donations while I have the moment. We've got Chris149, $5 donation. I believe I missed your donation earlier, and I want to apologize for that. Shout out to my fiance Heather on the couch next to me. I love you, and thank you for putting up with me watching AGDQ all week. Thank you, Heather. We all thank you. We've got $5 from the Dairy Lord, who just says, Kobe. $5 from Axel Star. Announcer Double Doggo dared me to do it, so take my money. Got $5 from Twitch Chat 207. Twitch Chat here. I did what you told me because I want to fight cancer too. Got $5 from Anonymous, who just says latte. That's right, folks. For basically the price of a latte, you too could become a proud donator to our valiant cause. We're almost at $275,000, folks. Let's push over the $300,000 mark as fast as we can. Let's do this. Come on. 300K, we can do it. Come on. I've got $500. $500 from Plastered Potato. I battled cancer when I was young, and I survived, and I love games done quick, and love donating to something that hits close to home. Well, we seriously appreciate that from you. Got $5 from Viking155 to my newlywed Mimi. I love you so much. Good luck, runners. People getting married out there, folks. We got fiancés, we got newlyweds. I'm not saying GDQ is bringing people together and getting people married, but who knows? It could be happening. If you got married because of a GDQ event, be sure to donate and let us know. $20 from Anonymous, who says, this is for a great cause and an even greater stream. Way to start off 2017 with a blast. We got $200 from FN Matrix. I threw $5 at my monitor, but it didn't want to take it. My credit card was happily willing to give up $200, though. Dang. Thank you so much for that. Sacred Bovine says, donate $5. Okay. All right. And with that, it looks like we are ready to throw it over to our interview. We've got Feasel interviewing Dexter and Gusmancini. Take it away, guys.
Hello, we're here with the runners of the Ninja Gaiden Pacifist block here. We've got Dexter and Gusmancini. Thanks for those runs, guys. Those were really interesting to see.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
So Ninja Gaiden, it's got sort of a reputation as being one of the hardest NES games. People say it is, you know, sort of what defines NES hard. But do you think that that's accurate, or is it really just like any other game, in your opinion?
It's pretty accurate. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in that game. You have a lot of different enemies, hard enemies. You have the birds, of course, that fly around the whole screen, and everything can kill you pretty much. I mean, you can drop down to a pit like with one hit and everything, so it's a really hard game.
Yeah, with Ninja Gaiden, you know, when everything's going good, it's going good. But as soon as you make one small mistake, all of a sudden you have to get yourself together and figure out how to come back from it. If sometimes it could be a death that could be pretty disastrous. Other times it may not be a big deal, but you have to be ready for anything, basically.
Yeah, really have to just play it by ear and have backup strats, especially in this marathon context where you can't reset and just start again. So I think the question that a lot of people want to ask, we have up here from one of our Twitter questions, what made you want to run this category, Pacifist in particular? What is it about Pacifist?
So I actually found the Pacifist category watching the AGDQ runs back in 2013 and 14, and then Uranium Anchor was running Ninja Gaiden 3 low percent, and during his run he said, I don't think anybody could do this pacifist, even on a Japanese version. So I took that as a challenge and went straight into the pacifist run, never beat the game regularly, which was a big mistake. And then, it just sparked my interest in all 3 of the games, so I just ran them all.
Yeah. For me, it was more like getting a completely new challenge because I've been playing 100% like all the time, so I wanted a new challenge. That was,
Right, the same game, but just a totally different way
Yeah.
to play it for you. Now, Gus, you run only pacifist, right? I mean, it looks like you have the pacifist record in all 3 categories, and you run Ninja Gaiden 1 any %, but I didn't really see a lot of other runs, other categories.
So I ran the Ninja Gaiden 2 during the relay race 2 years back, 2 years back, and at first I was going to do pacifist back then, but then they're like, oh, we need a runner for the any % for the relay race. So I picked up the game and learned it in a few months, and besides pacifist, I haven't spent too much time on any other categories, just because I've had so much fun with it.
Okay. So, what, next question here, what would you consider to be the hardest part of the run? I mean, there's a lot of really difficult stuff in that run, but if you had to pick, what do you say?
RNG.
Yeah, the RNG, like the hammer throwers?
Yeah, RNG, definitely. You don't know how to react to it. You have to, there's no set pattern. You have to react to it when it comes up.
Yeah.
Okay. So where did the pacifist idea come from? I mean, were there some other game that was an inspiration from it, or is it just, is Ninja Gaiden really the thing that just spawned this whole pacifist platformer speedrun idea?
From what I remember, I don't remember his name, but back in 2011, they just try to go through the game without killing anything. It was just this interesting idea, challenging yourself, like Dexter was saying before. That's why he got into it. And it kind of sparked, and that's when we started seeing the runs in 2013, 2014, and then it took a little break and came back. But that's as much as I know about the beginning of it.
And where did the route come from? Who came up with this route and who really developed this?
Well,
for either game.
So Sinister One, Dexter, and a few other runners started this back in 2013 and 14, and then when I picked it up, I kind of went super hard into it and found a lot of newer strats, harder strats. Some that I tried to go in for in this most recent run. Some went well, others didn't go. So.
Yeah, what Gus said, I followed Sinister when he did the pacifist run, so I took his route and picked it up a notch and went from there.
Okay. Now, another question here. How often do you lose to the bosses in the game? I mean, we see a lot of really tough things happening in the platforming sections, a lot of bad deaths, but are the bosses, are they the hard part for you, or is that actually the easier part?
They're the easiest part. That's actually the time you get to get a breather, actually, because...
For the most part. I mean, besides a couple of bosses here and there, like Jackio can be really mean to you if you're not mashing right that day. So.
Okay. So, you have a question, Sam?
I actually did have a question for you guys. A little behind the scenes there, but both of you asked to only hear the game audio during the race. Are there a lot of audio cues that maybe help you deal with some of those more difficult enemies, or is it really just that nerve-wracking of a run?
Yeah, like you said, it's very nerve-wracking, and you really want to focus on the gameplay itself, and really have every strat that you have in your backpack if anything goes wrong. So you really want to focus.
It may not be noticeable at first, but I'm pretty sure subconsciously there's a little bit of muscle memory to the sound cues. So you'll hear something and then you'll react to it after a certain amount of time. So I think it might play a role a little bit, but yeah, you definitely just want to concentrate.
Understandable for sure.
Yeah.
Now, Dexter, you run a lot of NES games, not just Ninja Gaiden games, right? So what is it about the NES in particular that you think is so appealing for speedrunning?
They're short.
Short games, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to sit and play a 10-hour game. That's too much for me. I want to have a sweet, short, fun game that I really want to optimize as much as I can. And NES was the choice, and it's my favorite console also.
Cool. And you're one of the organizers of the Best of NES Marathon and the Big 20 races and all that. So you do a lot with NES games besides just running them. Why did you decide to get involved in that way besides just being a player?
I mean, I want the NES community to grow, and the Best of NES has been a big part of it, I think, because we've gotten a lot of speedrunners into NES speedrunning, and I don't know, that has been the main thing, making the NES speedrunning grow.
Right, growing that community.
Yeah.
Well, now that you're done with these runs, what are you going to do for the rest of this marathon?
Relax.
Relax. Yeah,
Just relax?
Yeah.
Just all the stress off now?
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Well, thanks very much for talking with us, guys. Sent is going to talk about some prizes for a bit.
I do. I have some fun things to talk about coming up tonight and tomorrow morning. So we are going to have some classic Game Boy and other older consoles running tonight. And one of the cool things we have here from Amra the Lion is, well, it's a red Game Boy, and you think, yeah, it's pretty normal. But hey, when you turn it on, hopefully it shows up a little bit on stream. It's actually got a backlight put into it, so I mean, you can play it in the dark. I don't know about anybody else, but my childhood was made of road trips trying to play Game Boy by the light of the street lamps.
Oh yeah.
I think I would have killed back for this in like 1995.
Extra difficulty back then. Now this is easy mode.
Right.
Should have taken this out of the box. From our good friend E-Mister, we have a Game Boy SP with a couple of games come with it. Comes in a nice light blue, as well as this lovely Game Boy themed T-shirt that I am holding upside down and backwards. I'm on a roll this event with shirts. I still don't know how to hold them.
Here, that's a cool T-shirt.
Oh yeah, here, Fiesel, sure.
Yeah, I'll take
Have a
look
shirt.
at this. Thanks.
So tomorrow morning we do have a couple of cool games. We have a Katamari run, and we have this Katamari ball here from Abby Normal 42. I really love it. It's so much fun to play. Don't let it touch anything though. It'll roll it off. It's got to make sure that stays separate. Dangerous. Might be a little hard to see, but we also have the Prince from Katamari as a keychain. And this, as well as our next few prizes, all come directly from Bandai Namco. Bandai Namco got in touch with us, sent us some really cool stuff, so huge shout-outs to them. We have several copies of Pac-Man Championship Edition, as well as, really got to reach for that one, we have an Inky plush. Objectively the best ghost. If you said Sue, you're wrong, and if you said Clyde, I don't even know how to help you.
Wow, this is great. Look at this.
And finally, there are a couple of them scattered across the desk, but our good friend Sam Sprites made all 24 of the cousins from Katamari, and taking a couple of them out of the box here, but I could pull them out of here all day. There's just more and more of them. And yeah, those are all coming up tonight and tomorrow morning. As always, you can head over to gamesdonequick.com, check out the tracker, and see the minimum bid amounts for these prizes, as well as all kinds of cool stuff you can put your donations towards, and great runs coming up.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Sent.
Always a pleasure, Fiesel.
And thank you guys for talking with us, and thank you for those great runs.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
And up next, we've got Sparkster, so we're going to throw it over to the host there for some messages, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the marathon.
Thanks very much, Fiesel and runners, for those awesome interview questions. Also from the crowd for sending those interview questions in. Just want to give a quick little bit of love to Canada. Oh, Canada. We've got $100 from JB Toon Chef, hype from Canada, donating for these amazing pacifist runs of Ninja Gaiden. Shout out to Sinister One of my favorite runners. Where's the blindfolded Punch-Out this year? Seriously. Putting this towards Super Metroid rotation, and of course killing cancer. And $10 from Little Flippy, or is that II Flippy? Because video games are great and cancer sucks. Much love from Canada. And with that, I think we're ready to kick it over to Sparkster and drakodan. Whenever you guys are ready, feel free to take it away.
All right, yeah. I'll just preface by saying this is any percent of Sparkster, which you play on easy mode. It removes some level sections, including some auto-scroller, so it should improve the pace of the run a little bit. With that said, though, I will just go ahead and announce the start of the run in 3, 2, 1, go. So, all right, guys, I am Drakodan. This is Sparkster, and I just skipped the boss fight there, so already off to a pretty good start. Why are you laughing? You didn't get that. So, as you may have seen on the title scroll there, this is Sparkster Rocket Knight Adventures 2. Not a lot of people have heard of this game, though if you've heard of Rocket Knight Adventures, which I think a lot more people have, you'll know what this game is generally about. Movement in this game is very much about rocket boosting. In Rocket Knight Adventures and the SNES version of this game, you have to manually charge the rocket boost by holding the attack button. On this game, it automatically charges and it's assigned to its own button, so we can attack and boost independently, which is really nice. And there are also 2 specific levels of boost. You can see in the top center there's the boost bar, which fills up once and then fills up again. When it's filled once, we can do a level 1 boost, which is a non-corkscrew attack. And then we can use the level 2 boost, which is the corkscrew like that. It goes further and is stronger. And this is the backbone of our movement for the game. How about you guys introduce yourselves, though? My couch.
I'm Light Rainbow.
I'm Sonic Star.
I'm Shining Face. And before we get any further, I just have to say the music in this game is fantastic.
It's pretty nice, yeah. I especially like the Stage 2 music, which we will hear in not too long. So this is an auto-scroller segment, so I'll explain a little more about just the movement in this game, and then I'll hand it over to donation reading for the rest of this segment. So as I say, I want to rocket boost everywhere that I can. There's a little detail in optimizing rocket boosts in this game, since obviously you rocket boost where you can, but once you exit a rocket boost in this game, you can actually optimize the amount of momentum that you have by not using any directional input for the first 20 frames after you exit every single boost you do. So I want to be doing that as much as possible, that whenever I do a directional boost, I'm actually direction-less for 20 frames coming out of it, which it's difficult to get used to and difficult to get a good rhythm for, but we'll be seeing it. And as you are seeing in the top right of the screen, this is also the only game in the Rocket Knight series to have a power-up system. So every 10 gems that we collect, we can get an optional random pickup, and there are also pickups periodically placed through the stage. The only one that's of any real use to us is the flame power-up, which we'll get a couple of times through the run. Whilst we have the flame power-up, all damage output is just doubled. And the trade-off of that is that whilst you have the flame power-up, you need to take no damage, because otherwise the power-up just goes away. And there are 2 types of bosses in this game. There are ones with hit points, and there's one with just a hit count. It doesn't matter that I don't have the flame power-up for this stage 1 boss, because this is a hit count boss, so I simply need to hit it a scripted number of times. And you can also see that I'm abusing iframes for this as well, because whilst you are doing the central buzzsaw attack, which is performed by not using a direction when you try and boost, you do that in place. When you do that or a rocket boost, you actually have iframes for the whole duration. I said I was going to allow donations there after I was finished talking. I didn't stop talking. Sorry about that.
I mean, to be fair, you do that a lot.
Yeah, I do.
Do you want
this
a
is stage
donation
2.
in a bit?
We get a nice little bit of rocket boost routing displayed here. Stage 2 is a lot more convoluted than Stage 1, so we get some specific routing done with the boosts. Let's try this. Nice.
Yeah, this is kind of the stage where you really have to make sure you understand how movement works in order to get a good time. So it's really imperative you understand how the boost works in this game.
Yeah. And I would wager that Sonic Star does know a lot about how the boost works in this game, because he actually made the tasks for this game. So I would argue that he actually knows a lot more about this game than I do, but here we are.
I'll try and remember as much as I can here, but I can't guarantee.
When are you going to beat my PB? Because you should be able to.
Give it time, man. Give it time.
So if you miss that, we can simply boost through here. To the lower right there is a switch that we're supposed to get to raise a platform out, but it's really slow, and I would rather just skip this section by doing this. That is actually quite a bit harder than it looks, and I used a specific damage boost setup there to make sure I had a good position and that I didn't fall off the bottom of the screen. Shoutouts to Sonic Star for that one as well. I was just winging that one until I had a consistent setup by him. I need to time this well. Okay, good. If my damage output on this boss is good, I can one-cycle him. I somehow don't think I'm going to. That's like one hit off, I think.
Yeah, you really have to be careful where your positioning is with relation to that boss, because if you're too far or too close away, he'll tend to jump up, so...
Yeah. You kind of need to zone him. Like, when he's at a specific distance, he's going to jump into the background. Whilst he's in the background, there's nothing you can do. Either way, though, that's stage 2 done. There are 6 stages in this game. I promise there will be time for donation reading during stage 4. Just cut my mic if there isn't.
Will do.
With stage 3, though, we need to go through various sections of the ship and destroy these various turbines at various sections, such as here.
It's interesting to note that the route that he's taking is actually a very specific route because after you destroy all the turbines, you actually have to make your way to the left of the screen. And so the route he's taking will let him travel the least amount of time to the left, so
Yeah.
it saves just a little bit of time.
Aside from the sections, though, where I come out in spots where there are multiple pipes for me to take, I don't really have any control over where I'm going because they all drop you off in a specific spot. So go over to the left here. I'm also being slightly careful. There you go. I'm being careful to make sure I'm actually finishing off these pipes because it seems to be number of hits dealt plus some frames of contact damage. You just saw there, I got 4 swipes on that pipe and it didn't get destroyed. If I leave a pipe undestroyed, I have to do a whole another circuit of the ship to go back and destroy it before I can enter this boss arena. So for this boss, I'm going to need to abuse iframes here again, and then I'm going to need to hit an audio cue, so I'm just going to concentrate on this for a second. Got it. Missed a hit there, but that's fine.
One cycle, baby.
This one cycle's still very easy, even with the missed hit. There we go. Not bad. There's quite a bit more in that boss fight than it looks, and it's not too simple, but it looks very simple and fluid when it's performed like that. So I'll just preface stage 4 by saying it's mostly auto-scroller. We are in a mech, and we need to really just periodically take care of enemies as they appear. So there are some specific walker enemies that appear as well that we need to scroll off screen as quickly as we can. But aside from that, unless you've got anything specific to add about this stage, Sonic Star, I don't know.
The only thing I will say is that at least for this first section, you want to make sure you scroll the walkers off as soon as possible because after a while you will start losing time. So if you end up having to wait a while before you go to the next section, that means you're doing a good job.
But with that said, I will now hand it off to donations. This is a great time for donations. We're going to need those for the next few minutes, if you can, please.
I've got them. We've got a $10 donation from Toko Tomcat. Hey, drakodan. Toko Tomcat here with my first donation of this AGDQ. Glad to see you run Sparkster one more time. And from us here at Distant Star Games, good luck on your run tonight. My donation goes to Runner's Choice in honor of my Uncle Keith, who is battling lung cancer right now. We are fighting for you with the power of gaming. Please, if the cures are here, let it be known. If they aren't, let them be found. We've got $5 from Bradlex727 who says, break a leg on the run, Draco. We've got, let's see here, $25 from Bill K93. Have to donate for Sparkster. Here's to a one-round boxing match this year. We've got $5 from Ford who says, greetings, America. Long-time donator, first-time watcher. Wait, that's not right. Oh, well. Good luck to Draco as he boosts through Sparkster. Hope you had a good breakfast. $10 from Anonymous, who says, I love Sparkster. He's real and he's my friend. Hyped to see the Genesis version ran. And then $25 from Ian Keith. This one goes out to the guy who keeps me speedrunning. drakodan? 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 With all the love a whole salt pile can provide. We've got $75 from Yeah, That's Steve, who just says, throw up your poggers, PogChamp. $20 from Kyle Katarn, donating in anticipation of the awesome PC gaming block tomorrow. In meetings all day, but look forward to those System Shock and Doom VODs. Good PC stuff coming up tomorrow. $7 from Dragons Thanos. Best of luck to my friend Drakodan on the Sparkster run. I love watching your streams, dude, and I know you'll do an awesome job. Put this money to not hugging the goat in Undertale. I want that goat unhugged.
Correct choice.
Nice job, dude.
Got $5 from Kaizen Zero. Hey Draco, Kaizen here. It's awesome to see your beautiful face playing a game at GDQ. Can't wait to see you crush some Sparkster, and I'm also hyped to see the awesome Undertale run. Put this donation towards Minnie for Mickey's Dangerous Chase. Keep up the good work, everyone.
Thank you very much, guys. Very generous of you. So we're coming into a mini-boss segment here. I use a specific position and a specific arm angle to make sure I can reflect all these projectiles back consistently. It simply takes 7 hits here to deal with this mini-boss. There is thankfully no RNG involved here. This is entirely scripted, so I just need to make sure I don't miss any shots.
Yeah,
And
if he...
oh, sorry. No, you go.
Yeah, if he ends up missing a shot, then he's going to have to end up waiting a while, or at least another cycle before he gets another chance to shoot. So it's really important that he gets all these shots.
So one more back cycle here, and then when he comes to the front, he's going to fire 4 shots. That's all it takes to finish this phase. And once he exits the screen, I'm going to be at the hard left of the screen, since we believe it saves a little bit of time if you're at the far left of the screen when you enter the proper boss fight.
It's like frames.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know. Alright, so that's going to be that boss done. You thankfully don't need to time each shot, because if you just hold the attack button down, the fist keeps firing. So if you just get the timing for the first shot right, they're all going to be right. So we now have the staple Rocket Knight robot duel. This one is quite a bit simpler than the one in Rocket Knight Adventures and Sparkster SNES though. He's either going to melee attack or projectile. God, that RNG's bad. And if he projectiles me, I'm just going to damage boost through it. But if he jabs me, I'm going to back off and then counterattack. You can choose to use a jab or an uppercut. The uppercut is way stronger though, so that's what I'm going to opt for. If I get down to 1 HP, I do have a block, but it's simply faster if I have the spare health to just damage tank the projectiles. This is actually poor RNG so far. Like, this is a below average fight. That was a fast hit though. That's what you want to see as many of as possible. And of course he gets me down to 1. Alright, so that wasn't a fantastic fight, but there's not much you can really do about it. And we're going to be entering stage 5 now, which is definitely the most complex stage in the run. I mentioned before about getting the flame power-up for doubling the damage output. I want to hold a couple of different flame power-ups for as long as possible throughout this stage, and as I say, it requires not taking damage once I have the flame power-up. So there's a couple of spots, such as right here. I'm going to do an action that looks fairly slow, like I'm wasting time. I need to get this enemy out of the way, and then I need to get this power-up. I need to wait for the level 2 boost here anyway, so it doesn't even lose much time, but in order to one-shot these obstacles, I need this level 2. And I can abuse iframes there to get through that guy. And now, even with a level 1 boost, that doesn't really matter. There's only one set of head gates. Oh, nice direction there. Yeah, there's only one more set of gates I needed that specific flame power-up for, so that doesn't lose too much time. These gates, however, are a bit of a nuisance. Nice simultaneous there. I picked up the power-up and hit the enemy on the same frame, and apparently hitting the enemy took priority there. Alright, so this is what I would like that previous flame power-up for, but it only makes it require another boost, so it doesn't waste too much time. And as for the next sections of the stage, there are 2 more flame power-ups that I can get that are in convenient spots, so I don't need to hold either of them for particularly long, except for the last one in the stage. For the last one, I need to hold it as long as possible because I want it for the boss fight. But it's also the most difficult one to hold for a long period of time, so we're just going to have to see how it goes. I would rather have not destroyed that guy because he does cause a lot of lag, but it's whatever. So, let's get through here. Nice. That's a little bit of a precise position to get that, but it's whatever.
Also, a quick thing to mention, when you're boosting, unless you hit an enemy, you will continually bounce around until your boost is finished going off.
Yeah, pretty much. So taking damage on that enemy there wasn't that bad because, again, this is the end of this section. This laser eye gate, I think this is also a fixed number of hits rather than damage dealt, so it doesn't matter that I don't have the flame power-up, and we're about to get our next and last flame power-up right here. Right here. So now I need to hold this as long as possible without taking any damage. Also,
It's possible to skip this row, but it's very pixel perfect.
it's TAS only, yeah. I've tried it in RTA, and I sometimes get it. Most of the time I die trying to get it, so there is no way I'm going for that. These take 5 hits each. I want to rebound further off the 4th hit to set up for this. Don't attack, thank you. What am I doing? How did I? Ah. That didn't exactly go according to plan, but whatever. I completely forgot that I needed to save a level 2 boost there for the extra distance. It's not the power that I need there, it's the distance, so that I get through all 4 of the enemies there. So I'm not going to be able to carry a flame power up through to these bosses here. These walking mechs are more or less mini bosses, and I'm going to exploit trying to reflect these bomb projectiles, because the bomb projectiles themselves cause damage, and they also cause additional damage for every frame they are in contact with the enemy. So if you can reflect multiple of them at once, does the effect actually stack for multiple bombs? Sonic Star?
I don't believe so. Just as long as you have one bomb in its hitbox, it should do damage per frame. So.
Okay. Yeah. Either way, though, it's still very convenient. So I'd be able to dispatch these guys a little faster if I had the flame power up. This is the other attack they can use as well. They either use the bomb projectiles or they stand in place and do the laser. I can't reflect this, but it at least makes them really easy to hit. The flame power-up isn't particularly important for these guys, but it is very important for the... Well, not of paramount importance. It's very helpful against the main boss coming up, though, so it's a bit of a shame I don't have it, because it can make the fight considerably faster. But we'll still be able to deal with it well. I'll try and make sure that I don't enter the boss fight whilst grabbing the health pickup, because I'd like to save it for if I actually get into a pinch. This guy has killed me a few times with some really bad RNG patterns. Not bad. So if I'm on the left side here, then I will avoid this health pickup. So I'm just going to remember that that's there for in case I need it later. So this yellow mech is more of the same, just with the same attacks. The green mech is the problem guy. Just closing in on this guy is difficult because his arms have solid hitboxes and will try and rebound you. So I'm going to try some precise positioning to stay in his body and keep sword attacking him on the first possible frame, which should prevent me from taking damage. That's a fine attack. The danger with this guy is that there's a few different attacks you can use. One of them is almost impossible to dodge, so that one in particular. You can see there, with the rebound, I couldn't really have dodged that. So even if I did have the flame power up, I would have just lost it there. So, you know, sometimes you just take what you can get. So for the green mech, I start in this exact position, and I have a setup for the first attack here, which puts me in a good position. That's poor. Dude, come back.
He's just not having any of it.
He's just doing some squats.
Yeah. This is actually
He doesn't even care.
Ah, come on.
He's getting his exercise in for the day.
Mate, will you... There we go, I'll take it.
There is a somewhat quick kill you can do with the green robot, but it involves him going into a very specific form, where you can sort of abuse the same bomb trick as you would with the other robots. So
yeah. So here's the showdown with our counterpart Black Knight, Axel Gear. I'm going to try to go for a quick kill here, but this is really hard, and I'll explain more about it after this fight. What a badass. Oh, wow. I've never messed that up. I just completely pressed the wrong button there. So now that he's getting the chance to act freely, he's going to be very erratic and hard to keep up with. Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Ooh. No, wrong. That'll
Ow.
All right.
that was still pretty good.
Yeah, that went pretty well, regardless.
Once I regain control of that, yeah. Once you hit him, he's always going to rebound in a specific way, and then once his iframes run out, you have at least one frame where you can continue to damage him. But if you miss that, then he just becomes very erratic and hard to keep up with. Sadly, I couldn't finish at the middle of the screen, which is a bit faster, since then Sparkster doesn't need to walk over to the sword, but you know. And there's actually not too much more in that boss fight, really. So this is the last boss of the run coming up. I can go for a 3-cycle fight here, but it requires extremely precise attack management using level 2 boosts and sword swipes, so I'm going to focus on this. That may be alright. And in between these guys' phases, there's not really much you can do. Like I say, you have iframes whilst you are rocket boosting, but then even when you come out of a rocket boost, apparently hitboxes don't really count. I don't know. So for these next 2 phases in the air, this is harder. Ah, missed a hit. I'm not going to get it now. I'm going to be 1 hit off, so we're going to have to see the 4th cycle, which is the body swap attack, which is a little confusing when you see it, but there's a very consistent way to get it over with as quickly as possible, which is to simply let him attack you once when he takes over your body, and then use the body swap attack yourself, because he's then right next to you, so you immediately body swap. If you try to use it without him being in the right position, he just infinitely boosts away from you and you can't execute it. So if I hadn't dropped an input, that's where the run would have ended, but, you know, whatever. So the body swap happens, and we simply wait for this last hit. Time is also coming up when I regain control of Sparkster, and I deliver the last hit on the boss. It is one hit away, so it's when I rocket boost into him will be time. And time. Thanks, guys. Sadly, since this is easy mode, you get a very unsatisfying ending. Also, it's worth mentioning that there is a, I suppose, major seizure warning coming up here, so go to mobile quality. 2034 is a pretty decently paced run as well. My PB/record for this game is currently sitting at 1946, I think, so that was within
a minute, that's not bad.
Yeah. And with making some mistakes, including not having the flame power up when I needed it, that was honestly pretty good. Yeah, you only get this end screen on easy. If you complete the game on normal and get the true ending, which is the other category of this game, you do get a more elaborate ending. But that is the run, and I hope everyone enjoyed it. Do you have any closing words, guys?
It was a good game.
It is, yeah.
Aside from the flame power up, you were pretty much on PB pace, so
Yes.
nice.
So this version's better.
Debatable.
Other hand?
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go. Thank you very much for joining me, guys. It was definitely great having you here, and I'm just really glad to be able to offer a run to this event. It's an amazing cause to support, and I've wanted to do a run at this event for a long time, so I'm really grateful to have this opportunity, and I hope to come back at SGDQ if I can as well.
All right, guys, let's hear it one more time for drakodan on that awesome Sparkster run. Thank you so much. Coming up next, we have Decap Attack by Cook. Stay tuned for that. Just want to remind everybody, we've got a lot of donations coming in. We do